Standing up here on a slope in the thicket and going to make some observations on this drought that we're busy experiencing. It's quite intense. Some of the Pappeas are looking okay, but I'll show you a couple that seem to have completely died off or in the process of dying. Remember, these are evergreen trees, so if they've got enough, we suspect if they've got enough reserves, they can lose their leaves in a kind of a controlled way. But if they don't, then they could effectively just go bang and all die at once, and that's being observed across the Eastern Cape in many places. There are other species like this. I think is a Grewia. Let's have a look here. Yeah, this looks like a Grewia. Focus, please. There we go. Leaves are usually much bigger than this, but this can lose its leaves, and it's kind of drought deciduous, will lose its leaves and regain them. But if we just have a look at this little patch here of speckboom, we can see that even the drought is hitting this cam succulent. If we look here, you can see it's abscising. It is abscising branches. So this isn't being pulled off by herbivores. It's actual active plant abscission. And here's a large piece that has kind of fallen over and died. Here's a piece, a branch that is abscised. You can see what the drought is doing. It's starting to die, and stems are starting to die back, even on the speckboom. And it's not looking too happy at all. Let's go and have a look down here. You can see this is starting to split off. There's the branch. This is the branch that has that. There it is there. This big branch. You can see there's no tearing. It's just naturally kind of lost the limb. So that's what they can do when they're still have got nutrients and energy to actively manage their budget. But sometimes these plants start going into a negative carbon balance, in which case they can die. And we'll have a look at some of the plants there. So I'm heading up to that Pappea up there, and I think that's one that hasn't managed to lose its leaves in a controlled way, and it's just gone bang. I'm pretty sure that Pappea is now dead. That's what work by Daniel Butner has been showing in this landscape, is that once they do that and they all go brown at the same time, then they die. So this drought is causing quite substantial tree mortality. See what else we can see on this section. Yeah, so here we've got a Pappea capensis, and you can see that all the leaves have gone brown all at the same time. This thing's had catastrophic embolisms in the xylem and has died. And you can see that it goes all the way down, even the new leaves down here. So we've tracked a few trees where this has happened, and they just are showing no signs of recovery, even at the base. One of the trees did kind of do a bit of a basal regrowth, and the next time we checked on it, even that had died again. So all the way up through this canopy, this plant has had a heart attack. Well, the plant's equivalent of a heart attack. And right next door is another Pappea who's not looking in great condition, but you'll see that there are fewer leaves. So even though there are fewer leaves here, so this plant has been actively shedding its leaves, and so that's why it's looking in better nick. You can see it's really multi-stem down here, and these leaves at the base are kind of looking pretty good. Come on, focus please. They're looking pretty good. They whereas, and so the way to explain this is that this tree had the energy to kind of shut down its leaves in a controlled way. So that Pappea that we just looked at now had far more leaves in its canopy, and it all just broke down, shattered at the same time. But the scary thing is that's not the only tree that it's happened to. There's another one right through there, and you can see that one's got a lot of leaves on it. So if the plants get into some kind of carbon starvation mode, what that means is that they can't actively shut down their leaves, and they all go bang across the whole canopy. So this tree is more than likely dead. And you can see here's a speckbourne that's busy. This has got nothing to do with herbivory. This is just pure drought. This is just abscising bits. And this also takes energy to be able to actively abscise like this. And so you can see there, more branches there that are coming through. So yeah, it's through these kind of drought cycles that we lose the trees. But the worrying thing is, where are the juveniles? Where are the teenagers? You can find the odd seedling in the speckbourne, but where the teenagers? Where are the whippersnappers? I suspect that tree's just gone bang, which is why it's yellowing still, but it's on its way out. I think it's just recently had its heart attack and stroke. So just in this little patch here, there's one that I'm pretty sure is dead. That one there is dead. That one again's on the way out, and this one's dying. And there's no recruitment happening, so this could be a major blow to the population. Here's another one. It's also completely all the way down, gone bang. When we first saw that there were these multicolored leaves like this, we were a bit hopeful that maybe that means that it's going to recover, that it's doing some kind of slow withdrawal. But if you look at the way the leaves are doing, it's not going from the tips down. It's kind of like starting from the base up. And that's actually because the leaves are running out of water and they're dying. And so it's not what you'd normally expect. So you'd normally expect something like that, I think. But these are just going all over the place. There's no withdrawal. These leaves are actually dying. So this is another tree that has gone in this drought, and even the aloes are starting to get taken out. Quite an event. There's a cabbage tree that's died over there. Looks like possibly towards the start of the drought. And something I've also noticed is that the aloe, it's either speciosa or pluridens. I'm having a botanical brain malfunction. Pretty sure it's speciosa. Anyway, it's the one with the bad hair day. They're also really looking like they're suffering. They've only got a few leaves left on their crown. They've just got, the rest of them have all gone white. The leaves have died on top. They've just got a few remaining leaves on top there. And I've been seeing quite a lot of the aloes that have fallen over. And I think as soon as those leaves go, because of embolisms, then they rapidly just fall over. And so I think we're also losing quite a lot of the aloe pluridens, and these guys are tall. And again, we've got this issue. Look, there we go. There's one that's fallen over. It's right above me. I've seen quite a lot of that, and walking up the slope. And again, the question is, where are the teenagers? Where are the intermediate stages? I'll probably be able to find a few babies every now and then, but the you know, some really small ones less than a foot high. But I haven't seen, walking up the slope, I haven't seen a single like intermediate one that's could be between like a meter and 2 meters. They're just completely absent. So there's no recruitment happening. There's nothing, once these guys go, there's nothing replacing them. Whether that's got to do with herbivory or drought or a combination of two is a discussion for another day. But I certainly think that the drought is starting to take a heavy toll on these giant individuals that are kind of above the herbivore trap, you know, beyond what most of the most herbivores like kudu could get to. It's just far too tall for a kudu to get that. Even the Grewia perforata is looking really super stressed. It's dying back in many places. You can see that on the slope. Yeah, mass dieback there. Although the Grewia mesembryanthemum isn't looking too bad, still kind of hanging in there. Although I think it's aborted its flowers. Tried a flower and I think it's aborted them. But this poor chap is really struggling. On another note, if you ever want to know whether you're dealing with a speckbum seedling in the field, something that hasn't grown from being a broken branch that's fallen on the ground and then rooted. So this is a speckbum seedling. It's come up from seed, and speckbum maintains these purple leaves for a really long time while it's still in the seedling phase. The leaf shapes are also slightly different. They're much fatter than what we're normally used to, and they'll stay in these kind of purple stages for quite a long time until they kind of grow out of their purple phase. But you'll see really small ones, and then those will definitely be seedlings. So that's how you tell the difference between something that's grown from a branch that's dropped, because they don't turn purple like this, versus something that's grown from seed. Something that looks like it's doing really well in this drought is Jatropha. I've been passing a lot of it, and it all looks like green and luscious, where everything else looks like it is absolutely suffering. Here it is busy flowering and fruiting, and like almost like it's a wonderful wet spring. It's just you can really see it just sticking out all over the place. You know, there's something that's really, I think it's a Cercia, Cercia spinosa, and you know, leaves really yellow. And if we just look over there, there's Jatropha's looking absolutely happy. So Jatropha, you know, we've got this member in the thicket, Jatropha capensis, but the whole genus radiated in South America, in the arid systems of South America. So many of these trees are subtropical. I mean, you'll find Pappea capensis in forest settings and mesic thicket, whereas Jatropha is only one of the few elements that's in thicket that comes from like true desert lineages, and it seems to be really thriving in the drought. And I wonder if it's a lineage effect. It remembers its ancestors that lived in the deserts, and so this is absolutely nothing for this plant's physiology. Anyway, just something, pure conjecture of course, but something to think about in terms of where the lineage is diversified, whether they're diversified in arid areas or not. I mean, this one is actually just quite phenomenal. There it is, flowering away. Only thing that looks marginally happy in this completely kind of very upset and drought-stricken landscape. Can you see it? It's purple, and that's the speckbum seedling. There's purple leaves on the underside. Sometimes they can be completely purple on both sides. This one's got green on the inside but purple on the outside. And so this is grown from seed. Whether it's going to make it into a large individual or get browsed into oblivion is the next question. But if you're ever wanting to know whether you've got seedlings that are growing, there they are. That's how you identify them, and track them. If you know where they are in the landscape, track them, see how successful they are, and see whether they make them into big individuals. So something I've yet to see, at least. Do you see these absolutely giant aloes? Aloe speciosa or pleurodens again. Can't remember. I think it's speciosa. Bad hair day. But can you see those canopies are dead? Those crowns of the aloes are dead. One, two. That one's on its way out. There's some in the back there. That's what they're meant to look like. Have a few green leaves on them. So what I have seen are these aloes pushed over by wind. I mean, these are incredibly tall. They must be almost 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.5 meters, I would estimate. And I've seen them pushed over by wind. I've never actually seen that crown die from drought. And yeah, it's looking absolutely horrific. Here we've got a euclea, I think. Jeez, it's got almost no leaves left on it. That's a creeper. So here's a leafless euclea, which is also, you know, one of the most drought hardy species around, and it looks like it may have died. There was a recent small bit of rain which I think made the scotias flush out. They had enough to save, but I think that this euclea has actually died. It's also could be a combination of herbivory during the drought and the drought. There's another one there, seems to have died. Anyway, those aloes are something quite amazing. You know, those things have seen many a decade. They're probably, guessing here, probably 200 to 300 years old, being that tall. It'd be interesting what other people think about that, the age of those. So here's a kind of an overall view of this aloe population, and you can see that a number of aloes have just got that white crown that we looked a bit earlier at. There's one over there, that one's died. There's another one over there, that one's died. There's one over there, that one's died as well. There's one over there, that one's died. I think that one's over there as well. That one's died. There's a double-headed one over there. That one also doesn't have a crown on it. So yeah, this aloe population is taking a big hit in this drought. Usually it's the wind that blows them over. You can see how all these shrubs in the front here are leafless. Many of them are drought deciduous, so they will just leaf up. I think I see some Rhigosum arbovatum The moment there's a bit of rain, they'll flush out, so they're fine. It's the evergreen plants, like the speckworm, aloes, pappeas, bosseas. They're the ones that are really suffering. I see there's a Cassonia there that seems to be hanging in, and so he still seems to be okay. But how many might have died and fallen over in the meantime? Oh well, there are a couple. There's 3 in a row there. 1, 2, 3. Those have died. Shoo-wee. What a drought. We really need it to break. Okay, I think that's all the depressing video footage for today.